Let's quickly cover media queries. Media queries are CSS rules that we put into our CSS to tell the HTML to change its look at a certain size. So if you want to make a website responsive, meaning that you want it to look on a phone, a tablet, your computer, a desktop, whatever else device that may come out, you want to look at on all these devices, you should be using media queries. There are other alternatives, and we'll be covering that later. But for now, I want to start with the absolute most basic way to do it, which is media queries. So let's quickly Google media query, W3, as always. And here it is, right at the top, CSS3 at media rule. So here we have our example. So let's just click into try it yourself. All right, so we have this resize the browser window. To see the effect, let's just go ahead and try that first. And it turns light blue, so it turns from green to light blue. All right, so let's see what we have here. We have a rule on the body tag, which makes the background color light blue. And then we have our @media rule. And then inside of our @media rule, we have another body tag rule that says change the color to light green. Now it's min, which means that if it's greater than 450 pixels, we want to use max, which means it's less than. That's a little bit confusing. Max should really go the other way and min the other way, but just try to remember that max means less than 480 pixels, whereas min means greater than 480 pixels. So if I click see results, this screen is going to change light blue because that's the original rule. And once the window is less than 480 pixels, we're going to be able to change it to light green. So let's see the results. There we go, light blue. And I'm going to go ahead and shrink this again. And there it is. There it turns light green. So let's add this to our own code and make a few changes of our own and see what we can do. All right, so here I am. I've already linked my CSS style sheet. Here at the top, I have my body tag, and I want to add in an H1 tag also. Save it. We'll open up our main.css. So let's add a rule to our body tag right now that changes the background color to, let's just say, pink. And we're going to add an H1 rule that changes the font size to, let's go with 100 pixels. And the color will be red. All right, so I'll save this right now. I'm just going to open this up just to show you what the page should look like right now. All right, there we go. Really big hello world right there. Let me minimize this a little bit. There we go. So we got it in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a media rule. The media rule goes inside of main.css. So we're going to do @media. We're going to do max width. We're going to do, let's say, about 500 px. Then we're going to do opening and closing brackets. Now what I want you to think about when you think about media rules is it's almost like a style sheet inside of your style sheet. But it's a style sheet for a particular size. You don't have to copy and paste all these rules in here to be identical. What you actually want to do is only make changes on the rules that you need to make changes on. So let's say the only thing we want to change was the body tag, and we want to change the background color to, let's change it back to white. So when I save it and I open up the page, I'm going to refresh. All right, so it's still pink. And then as I shrink this, when I get to 500 pixels, it's going to turn white. So there you go. I can also go in and I can change the rule in the H1 tag. I can just change font size to 30 pixels. And again, I need to shrink this. And then it changes to 30 pixels. Now there's one more thing we need to include besides just this @media rule. And I actually learned this the hard way on one of my jobs. What happened was I did not have this included, and I couldn't figure out why my media query wasn't working. It's actually a meta tag. So we're just going to type in meta viewport into Google. It's meta viewport. And here we go on W3 Schools again. Scroll down. And it is right here. This is exactly what we want. So we're just going to copy this entire thing. And we're just going to put it into our index page. Again, you can add that wherever you want, just as long as it's in the head. Whoa, just noticed Both of these are in HTML. Funny that it still worked, but you definitely want them to be right inside of the head tag. All right, so what we're going to do is we'll go back, we'll refresh, and it's all going to still be working. So it's all working the same. The danger is sometimes it will not read it without that meta viewport tag. So make sure that you include it in all of your code from now on. Even if you're using Twitter Bootstrap or any other grid system or just media queries, make sure that you include that meta viewport tag so responsive design always works.